This is Grace. I
Hi,
can't
Grace.
start a video. Hi there, guys. I like the overview of that beautiful room, and you're 6 feet apart from each other.
I'm impressed. Let me hang up my phone.
Oops.
Dan's video is turned. All the videos are turned off.
Yeah, it looks like your video's turned off.
Yeah, I've been trying to start it.
I have two. It won't do it. It says you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it.
I don't know how I disabled it.
We're impressed by your creativity.
I see your picture, but I see a little message in the middle. I know Maggie's on. Are you there, Maggie?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right.
Yeah.
You should be allowed to start your video now.
I can't see myself, but I see a little globby white thing.
Yeah. That's what you call Montreat. Oh, there we go.
All right.
Yeah, my video's on.
Oh, mine is not. Oh, mine is now.
That's great.
I get.
Now, let's see if we can get me. Hey, Ann.
Hey, Maggie.
I can't get my picture. Can't see my picture. I'm still a white blob. Okay, let's see. This is big. Oh, that's great.
Gracie, you have low bandwidth.
I'm not at my usual place, and I'm not happy. I'm going around in circles here.
Okay.
Oh, why can I not move over there?
Starting my video. Okay.
We're going to pretend it's the wind. There's Maggie.
Oh, good, because I can't see you, but that's all.
I can't get me in the middle of the screen. That's not good.
There you are. Oh, there I am. Ah.
Yeah.
Yay.
The wonders of modern technology.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I like your long hair.
Oh.
I had a haircut. Oh, you're talking to Maggie.
I'm talking to Maggie.
Yes.
I'm sure Alex is very excited about talking about hairstyles.
Yeah.
Don't you know?
Okay, well, I think what I'm going to try and do is get back to Town Hall. I think Brad is live and in living color at Town Hall.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I think what I need to do first is call the meeting to order. And I think we all need a moment of silence, not necessarily mute, but to kind of organize our brains after our little blip here. Okie dokie. I know Alice was unable to be with us today. So the first thing though on our next item on the agenda is the agenda adoption. And I have two things I need to change on the agenda. The first is both of them under new business. The first is to elect our vice president, our vice chair, or our chair of vice, as I prefer to say. And the other is to add the Ivy issue. That's result of a public comment.
Good.
So is there anything else that anyone would like to have added to the agenda for? The third thing is I'm going to table the planting plan again. I have been remiss in getting some information I know to Brad and to anyone else who needs it. So just let me know and let's try and work on that in March. Okay, are there any other changes to the agenda?
I had a conversation yesterday with Samantha from
With
the,
who?
Samantha with the Chestnut Foundation.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, it could fit into some piece you've already got there, but I could give a brief update on that conversation, I think.
Okay. That's with the Chestnut folks?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll put that under old business. Does that work?
sure, whatever works for you.
Okay. Okay, are there any other changes to the agenda? Okay, if not, then I'll entertain a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
So move. So
Oh.
move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Don't fall off perches in there. Okay, the next item is the approval of our minutes from January. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes?
I move they be adopted.
Okay. Is there a all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, we had one public comment. And let me just read it to you. It's from Julie B. Roberts, who is on Westminster Terrace, I believe. Yes, on Westminster. And she's concerned about the grove of trees at the base of Virginia that are covered in ivy.
Mm.
And I know that it kills the trees with time. Is there any plan to cut the ivy off these trees? I would be happy to help with this if it becomes a project. So that's the item I just added under new business. I know Barry and I talked about this yesterday, and we're trying to figure out exactly which little grove of trees, which side of the road, if it's the Pratt Park side or over behind the Hatcher House, between Virginia and Holston, I think it is, by that little creek. There's a lot of trees in there with lots of ivy on it also. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Alex, do you know if anything else came in for a public comment?
No, that was the only comment that we've received.
Okie doke, thanks. Okay, let's go to reports. Barry, do you have anything?
The only thing I had to report at this time is worked with Miss Lentz over the past week and got several trees signed off that residents had brought to our attention. And we're hoping to start on them today, but this wind may delay us a little bit, but we'll be starting Thursday on that list of trees. But that's all I have at this time.
That's
Okay.
cool.
Are those removing trees or just pruning?
These will all be removal.
Okay.
A good part of them are actually ash trees that have died.
Okay. Great, thank you. Alex, do you have anything?
For the good of the board, you and I had worked together a little bit on coming up with or trying to come up with, you really came up with a scope of work for the inventory for the bidders, and coming up with a list of people to send the bidding information to. So that's still in progress, but we've got your draft of the scope, and we're going to update that a little bit and then send that to, we have 3 different vendors to send that to.
Okay, great. If you need to, you can go into a little bit more detail under old business. That'll be great.
Okay.
Great, thank you guys for that. I don't really have anything. The only issue I've got on my plate is, I think it must be Thursday, Barry and I are just going to go up to North Carolina Terrace. There's been a request to have some trees either topped or pruned. We know about topping is no way, Jose. But a resident up there doesn't like having her view of Lookout. hampered by growing trees. And this is not a new issue. When Steve Freeman was here, he and I went up and talked to her. So Barry and I are going to revisit the issue, and I'll get back with the daughter and keep you all up to date on what's happening with that. So, but just to give you a heads up that yes, phone calls like that do come in. So, okay, next on the agenda is new business, and we need to vote in a vice chair. At our last meeting, Maggie was nominated, but Maggie was not present to defend herself. So in conversation yesterday, she did agree to be vice chair if she were duly elected. So I'll go ahead and propose her as vice chair, left over from our last meeting. So all of those in favor of Maggie Ray being vice chair of the board, say aye.
Aye.
Are you there, Brad?
Yes, I said I.
Okay. Okay. Any opposition? Okay. Well, Maggie Ray is now the vice chair of, or vice chair of the board. So yay, congratulations, Maggie. Welcome back.
Thank you for waiting till I could be here.
Oh, we're so glad nobody else was in on the conversation we had yesterday. So.
Watch it.
Yep. Okay. The next item I have on there are any budget thoughts. I know the town council is beginning to think about budget for the 21-22 budget year. And I realize I forgot to put it on the agenda for last time. I'm wondering if there are any thoughts or any items we would like to request dollars, or for which we want to request dollars. At one year, I know we requested money to for membership into the Chestnut Foundation.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and then I know we also, I think we have $50, is it, Alex, do you know, for discretionary spending like printing and that sort of thing?
That sounds right.
Okay.
Oh, Aaron?
What?
Brad.
Oh, okay.
You can hear me all right?
Go ahead.
You can hear me all right?
Yes. Yeah.
Try to be close to the mic.
Okay.
On the Chestnut Foundation membership, is that an annual thing? Should we
It is.
do that?
And I forget what the base dollar amount is to receive the seeds or the seedlings.
$300 for
Is it
that.
300?
Who heads that up now?
What do you mean?
Yeah, is it completely under the town? No, a committee head, or at one time Chestnut was under the land care?
Okay. Well, we've kind of taken over the reins, whether it
So
was,
you've taken over the trees.
yeah.
Okay, because you're a tree board.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was, anyway, Brad, I know, has been in touch with them over the
Yeah.
last several years.
Okay.
So what do we want to go for?
What did you go for last year? What is the budget now? I mean, what levels?
We think around $50, and that's just for any kind of printing expenses,
Okay,
just miscellaneous expenses.
I probably haven't read enough of my materials I got from Martha, but what did you present and what did you get from the town for your budget for 2020? Well, it's since June. Is it June, July?
Yeah, I don't think we presented anything this year for the current fiscal year.
Well, how much did the town have in the beginning budget?
For the tree board,
Uh-huh.
I think it was the $50.
Only 50? Oh, I thought that was the balance now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I'd
Okay.
love to up it, and we can certainly go for it. We're not the deciding factor, but all we can do is ask. The worst they're going to say is no.
Well, the
Doing-
expense, well, I'm just curious about what are our expenses in a 12-month period? Is it just printing? Is it, obviously, the town budget's all the tree inventory stuff, so you have money from the town that's being used. Is that, I just need some clarity.
Yeah.
Excuse me, clarity.
I think one of the things I was thinking about is if we do get the inventory completed,
Mhm.
we will have some expense in updating the tree management guide, and that would be true with the planting plan. If
Mhm.
we get that done, we will need to have, while we're mainly going digital with that and putting them on flash drives for folks, or going to the website where they can go, we do need to have a couple of hard copies. So we'll
Cool,
need
yeah.
to get printing done. I think we've been going down to UPS. I think any kind of signage we might need to, special signage we might need to have done for plant sale. If
Mhm.
we need to have any signage made for a Chestnut Foundation event. Sometimes I've used that $50 to order copies of publications from Arbor Day Foundation, just from various organizations for which
Yeah.
we would have to pay.
Mhm.
So there's nothing definitive, but it's nice to know it's there if we need it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
But I'd love, yeah.
So
Yeah.
on the Chestnut Foundation part of it, I would suggest that maybe we request the $300. It might become a good thing to do at that level. I can tell you more in a little while. We might not end up needing to do that. I'll explain more, but I would say let's request it. And it could be membership or events, because there's possibility of some events also happening.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to request it also. Is anyone against us requesting it? I'd love to go for 400, have $100 in there for miscellaneous expenses and 300 for membership. So,
But just so that everybody remembers what the possibilities are, there is a basic membership that you're mentioning. If you want to get seed from them, then the minimum for that is $300. Another level is $1,000, where you get more seed. So just so people can be aware of that, I'm not suggesting we go in that far at this point, but
yeah. No, I think 1,000 is more than wishful thinking.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I'd love to go for 300 for membership with the Chestnut Foundation and $100 for discretionary miscellaneous expenses. And, we'll see what the council decides.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What do you think, Alex? Does that work?
We'll see.
Okay. That's all we can do. Okay. Okay, our next item of business is about the bagged leaves. I hope everyone received a copy of the email or statement that Alice Lentz sent out.
Mhm.
And this is also, I also have a copy of the recommendation that the Firewise Committee sent out. I know there's also been an issue with definition of a contractor. What I'd like to find out from the town is do we need, is there thought to limiting the number of bags people can put out? I know there's been an issue with college students and maybe handymen coming around the house or whatever to help collect leaves, and those people being considered contractors. Where do the bag leaves go right now? I think that would be the answer to the first question I have.
Right now, the bag leaves that we pick up gets hauled to a stump dump or a leaf dump over on number 9. And they charge us $25 a load. And we can't take them in the bags. We have to actually empty them out and then dump.
Oh, geez.
Well,
It's
that's
double.
what, they're biodegradable. That's interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting.
The
And
bags.
that's permitted through the state. So it's actually the state or county that's actually saying we can't put the bags in there. It's through their permit.
Okay,
So,
because I
Very
know they no longer stay in town.
right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, it appears that different times of the year, and in particular, probably October, November, you have many more leaves that are being bagged than now or, December. It seems like it's a month, a heavy monthly. I don't know, Barry, would you know how many bags have been picked up, or do you keep count on them, or how many loads?
He does keep count of them in October and November on a leaf pickup day. Bill can pick up anywhere from 3 to 400 bags.
Oh, my word.
And like now,
And so yeah,
like
Okay.
now he
Go ahead.
picked 20 to 25 bags, being like the off leaf season. Is what he's
20
picking
to
up now. So,
25?
yeah. 20 to 25 bags right now is what he's doing.
Okay.
which is double what he was doing last year.
Right.
Oh,
Is that a result of people being home?
I think that, and along with the Firewise program, I think everybody's just cleaning up everything inside their property corners
Okay.
and bagging it.
well, I think the amount and the number of pickups is separate from the definition of a private contractor.
Yeah.
This overlaps with the land care and several concerns and people stating that they are at their age unable to do yard work. And certainly they have contracts if they ever have anyone come in for landscaping that are private contracting, people, and they take their stuff off. I trust the citizens that are paying taxes and know that every 2 weeks they can put out bags. And if a college student without a truck or a handyman that has no capability of getting the leaves moved away from their house, I know that the 30 to 50 yard or feet or whatever the Firewise projects. And I do appreciate what Alice wrote about how we can you don't have to bag everything in the leaves, but it's an apple and orange thing with the private contractor definition, and college students are going to be used, and there's a Firewise grant that we're getting money, or Nancy Midget is getting money to be able to pay college students. And Alice continued to work very well with both of us, Nancy and myself, on this. And she said to go ahead and apply for that grant. And Nancy's heart is in it. If we are picking up every other week, who knows when somebody's leaves are blowing into my yard and everyone else's. And there's some properties that have no way to do what some of us can do by having an extension of some property that we own, that we can have the leaves there or blow them on there. So I maybe put out a lot, but I want this private contractor thing defined and make people understand it. Our college kids, or a handyman, or my grandson that comes and you can rate for an hour and get money. He's not a private contractor. He's not employed or paid by anybody else other than a volunteer. He should volunteer, but I want to pay him. So private contractor is not a college student, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Well, and that's basically the opinion from the Firewise
Firewise.
committee also, yeah. Does the
So no
fact-
action needed, and no action is needed on that? Is that what
Correct.
you're saying in the
Yeah.
agenda? Yeah.
I think, does the fact that we no longer put the bagged leaves and are able to have a mulch site in town, does that impact then how, does the town then need to revisit how leaves are collected?
Mhm.
Do we need to look into a leaf vacuum? I know we tried that many years ago. What are some of the options that we can, what are some of our other options?
I think a leaf vacuum truck would be cost prohibitive.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
How
think-
long does it usually take for, do you know, Barry, how long it takes Bill and his crew to get bags emptied into the truck?
If it's a leaf day,
Uh-huh.
it usually will take Bill and 2 men that will do all day long doing just leaves.
Mhm.
Because, it takes them an hour to go to the dump and then back. And he'll usually, he'll
Okay,
get 2 loads a day doing that. During that day, absolutely no brush can be picked up because he's concentrating solely on picking up leaves. So it's when it's a leaf season, October, November, let's say that, it is
Yeah.
an all day task. And then usually he'll go around on Thursday and pick up the strays that he didn't get. So
okay.
it's a big task during them 2 months when everybody's cleaning up.
Is our chipper just strictly wood chipping, or is there some way to have a mulcher?
What we're doing with the wood chips is when we've got an opportunity to put them on the native plant garden we've got behind the shop or on a path, we're doing that. Other than that, we have to haul them to a separate dump over here on Norfolk Road.
Oh,
So all of
geez.
our brush and all of our chips, if we don't have a little spot to do in-house, like a project, we have to haul them off. We can't store anything.
Mhm.
We really don't have a spot really in
Okay.
town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
okay.
everything has
that
to go
seems to be the problem.
to be in compliance with what the state regulators have chosen.
Okay,
Mhm.
Do you know the reason for that rule?
For not having a dump,
Right.
just for one, we don't have the property. And for another rule, it has to be, there's quite a few guidelines, right, Alex? So
Yeah.
where it has to set, so many feet from property line, so many feet from water, so many feet. Everything, the setbacks are so tight, we really don't have a spot here in town for that. That's why MRA and the town we're both struggling for places to put stuff.
okay.
As their rules or their water quality or air quality or just environmental rules are really strict and stringent, and we have to follow. So that's what's got us kind of tied up.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like we all need to think about this. And depending on what council decides, if someone from council will call on Alice if we need to, if they have come to any sort of plan, I think it's important, we're happy to have a member from the tree board participate in any kind of discussion of that. And I'm pretty sure Grace will agree, land care also, because both of those groups are concerned. So I guess that's where I'll leave it unless somebody else has something they want to add.
Well,
Go ahead.
I mean, we do have, as Alice says, we live in a wooded area. We
Yeah,
will have healthy trees drop their leaves.
yeah,
We have to have control of what and where, and I know there's money budgets, I know there's environmental issues, but there are reasons for some of the environmental issues. And in particular with Firewise, just these dry leaves and even a dry fall,
Yeah,
we have a match that could be lit, and it's just waiting to be a flare up. And if I'm sorry that there's a site that has to be driven all the way over, and the two men are doing that, and with the attitude that Barry and Bill have, I know that they're working themselves to death on those days, and but they certainly maintain a wonderful attitude when I
yeah,
talk to them about it. But I do need a definition from the town by my March 3rd meeting as to what is a private contractor. So I'm just, I'm getting
we-
feed-ins
we-
from everybody from different places, so I need that. And
We
I'm
will
the
not, we will
messenger.
not have a definition by the March 3rd land care meeting. The town council is going to take
Okay.
this up at their March meeting, but that is after the 3rd. I can't remember the date. So
Okay.
the town council is taking this up, but I won't
Yeah.
have anything for you by the March 3rd meeting.
okay.
Okay, okay. Remember, I'm the messenger. Don't kill me.
Well, and Alex, if you all can keep us in the loop as well, that'd be wonderful. Because
Good.
we're happy to work with the town to get this issue
Absolutely.
resolved and in a better position. So some new information came to light today that I was not aware of. So
Same here. Thank you, Barry.
the only thing I just random thought is, do we want to put out something on the Montreat Minute, either maybe after the town council meeting about this issue, and reference a lot of Alice's alternatives to bagging? Would that be a good thing to do? We can work with the communications people with the council. Thought, anyone?
Well, I think transparency and certainly if you have on a calendar that the town annually puts out that every other Wednesday, I can put my bag leaves out there. There are going to be some bag leaves. And so that's the instructions and the message from the town. So a Montreat Minute might be a good way to educate them. And Alice did a superb job with that, bigger picture of the bag of leaves in general.
Yeah, yeah. Is that something we should wait for, Alex, after the town council meeting or after the retreat? I'm happy to work with
After the
Tom.
regular March meeting.
March meeting, and that's going to be called March 11.
I think that's correct.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay,
Cool. Okay.
okay.
And
So then how about in March, we can
Follow up.
get together, we'll do a follow-up, yeah. But see if we can draft something for a Montreat Minute, and you can
That's good.
suggest me as part of that writing crew if anybody wants to know. So I'm happy to work with the mayor or Tom or Alice or anybody. So, okay, well, I guess we should move on. The ivy. As I said, I talked with Barry about it. We want to make sure which grove of ivy, these trees that she's concerned with. If it's in Pratt Park, I forgot to check my map. I'm pretty sure that's green space. And it's
Yes.
maintained by both the conference center and the town. But I believe the conference center is the one who maintains the landscaping. Am I correct in that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is this something we might want to approach MRA about as a possibility when they have their, what do they do, their Montreat beautification days, when they do planting and cleaning, and just address some of that ivy down there in those trees? Is that a possibility?
That's a possibility. I could run by John
Okay,
and speak with him about that. And that takes care of, may help on that side of the road. The other side of the road looks to be green space also.
okay. Now, is
Uh,
that our green space or joint green space?
It looks to be our green space.
Okay,
as far as, I don't know if we can, when we start doing something in the summer, if we have like have a group of citizens that want to go in and trim at it a little bit, that might be something we could have done.
Well, I know there's a tree that's fallen back in there that's leaning over the creek, and I'm pretty sure it's between the wind and the weight from the ivy. Yeah. I'm happy to consider even a tree board work day. Something that citizens can do or we can do that is not going to impede or, affect insurance issues and that sort of thing. I'm happy to go trim ivy as well.
Right.
I keep trying to tackle it in my yard, but somehow or other it overwhelms. So,
We might
Well-
send this to land care under its
Yeah.
umbrella of invasive species.
Exactly.
They might want to take on another look at ivy all over the valley and see, maybe have an overall plan about what to do, because it is a big issue. Many places. In vacant lots and also homes. So that would be further research from land care would be my suggestion.
okay.
And thank you, Maggie. We did bring that up at our February meeting because we have a citizen who is ready. I mean, we have beautiful stone walls in the MRA with the town. And if that ivy's going into the walls, that's creating as much of an erosion of the private, maybe the private, areas of North Carolina Terrace in particular is just like you can't see the rocks, you can't see the beauty of the walls, and the trees. And I know that we had somebody suggest, maybe it was you, Ann, saying that people love ivy.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, if they have a private piece of property and put the ivy there, which is what's happened even here on Miguel, it doesn't stay within your property line. It just keeps
land.
There is no, and it is all over the trees, even in front of our home.
And it's bodacious. It is terribly bodacious.
It's just it's like kudzu. Ivy is kudzu in Montreat. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that I believe I was the one who made a comment that there are some people who love to see ivy growing up their trees. And I have gone in and done a search, and it's like, is ivy detrimental to trees? It doesn't suck the life out of them, but it does weight it down. And it's one of those 50-50 situations. You either love it or you hate it. And so I think we need to be sensitive to that.
Yes,
I think there are a lot of people involved in this conversation who are like, let's get rid of the stuff. But some people don't want to.
I've noticed ivy growing on some trees over at Biltmore, and it might be interesting to consult with them and see why they let it go in some places and not in others, what their ivy planning is. I would be happy to do that part of my land care duties, but I could do it as a vice chair also. Because I do consider I'm on the vice side of ivy.
Yes.
Why don't you wear two hats and let's find out how Biltmore handles it.
I could do that. I will do that.
One of the things
to both groups.
One of the things I've done for the planting plan is found in the North Carolina Wildlife, and I've mentioned this before. The North Carolina Wildlife Federation has a list of alternative plantings for invasive species, for both vines and trees.
Yes.
And what we can do is address that as well.
Yes, I agree. And I have pamphlets. I mean, I have never seen so many pamphlets that I have received from Martha of every event. I mean, anything that doesn't belong on your property. And they mentioned the two, ivy and something else. And I'll get those pamphlets out. It's everything about what we're talking, including bag leaves and including ivy, is education.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like that component is very important. And then I would like the reciprocation from the town to say, well, this is presenting a problem for the trees along, the right of ways.
Yeah.
And so that's, and the tree inventory, I guess you pick up those that have the ivy, but there are beautiful things that can go up trees that don't hurt them. And I think we'll get that list out from Land Care.
Yeah, and
So I
I'll
want
get,
to jump in here for a moment. I've been waiting for a moment to get in there.
Yippee, go for it.
go Brad.
Yeah, we've got the men sitting here listening to the women. It's interesting.
And we're even outnumbered today.
No. So my thought here is ivy is an invasive species. You know, the town already has, I'm not sure if policy is that right, the right level, but we want to discourage people introducing invasive species. I think we want to encourage people to remove invasive species.
Yes,
I think it is a matter of education and communication. I'm not very persuaded myself by the thought that a lot of people love it. You know, maybe people more just kind of ignore it. But it is destructive, and I think we should find a way of very clearly making that point and publicizing that to encourage them. I do think that land care is an appropriate venue because it involves, it involves the different entities which may or may not be paying attention to the issue of the ivy.
Good
And I think
point.
we need to
good point.
we need to have buy-in from college and from MRA in particular to really effectively address that.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's move on. And a quick update on our plant sale. Brad, do you want to tell us what was decided?
Yeah, we keep getting the question about when is the plant sale, and what I can say is that Jean is continually addressing the question. She had a conversation with a woman yesterday. I don't know from which plant sale, but a woman who runs one of the plant sales elsewhere in the valley, and they were discussing who's going to have one, who's not going to have one, those kinds of questions. At this point, the big one in Asheville, I think it is, may still be, it's still on the calendar, but everybody's kind of doubting that it's going to happen. But the communications with that particular group is not that good, so there's some unknowns. But if we were going to be doing a plant sale this spring, the planning should have been underway a couple of months ago. So it's really extremely unlikely that we can do that. There are some organizations that have opted for an online plant auction or plant sale thing within a day to come by and pick up the plants you've bought. That takes a whole lot of organization, and for our small plant sale, I'm not sure that it's, well, people feel that it's probably not the thing to do. So what Jean is doing is trying to stay in touch with potential vendors. She's working on trying to get some web page thing going to highlight the vendors, to trying to maintain relationships with the people that
That's
maybe
great.
that when doing that kind of thing. But there's no actual planning to do an actual plant sale until we get further beyond the COVID thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so we do not need.
Yeah, we had a discussion.
Go ahead.
Land Care had the discussion in February. And at that time, Jean did note that it is, with the COVID restrictions, and it's MRA with the Moore Center, it's the conference center that allows us to use the facility. So if they're not able to open that up, we can't. And so it's a plant sale. I mean, this is like as I talked to Jean yesterday, we have other options. We just want the vendors to know that we can advertise without being, as a nonprofit, a problem, so that people can go to their places to purchase the native plants. And I can report after next week to the tree board in the next month, at our next meeting, some other alternatives.
Okay,
As for educational things that we often, the plant sale really is an educational experience as much as um, a sale. We don't make anything off of the sale. It's for the vendors to get their funds.
yeah,
But the Arbor Day thing is something I'll talk with you, Ann, about, because that's when I was going to support you in getting the mayor to acknowledge publicly on a Montreat minute or whatever,
yeah.
because the Arbor Day usually is celebrated that same plant, in April.
Well, I'm not sure when they've declared National Arbor Day. Every area is different. But the North Carolina official Arbor Day date is March 19th. But I know we're not going to be doing anything then. I'm thinking in the
okay.
fall to be able to do something, if we can work something in with the
Okay.
Chestnut Foundation. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll work with you on that.
okay. Any other thoughts? I see we have about 20 minutes left because we got such a late start. Our Duke Energy event. Okay, Barry and Daniel, you're on.
Oh, they're here.
I know.
Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. So unfortunately, I have not much to report. I do have a call. Barry and I both have calls in and have left voicemails, and no one has contacted us back yet.
Okay.
I'll continue to call Terry until I bother him enough. He'll
You'll
get back to
respond.
me. I can be pretty persistent. So, again, I think we were going to try to get him in here, or have some kind of meeting, toward the end of March. And so, I've got another week before the end of February here, and then, we'll try to square it up with them.
Well, and I think since you're having trouble pinning them down, we can either do a Zoom meeting or a webinar with them. I would say even into April, if that would work better. So,
Okay, that's kind of what I let him know, that, if we could just get him to contact me back. I told him we were okay with doing a Zoom so he didn't have to travel from Greenville, because that's where he's coming from.
Okay.
Greenville, South Carolina area.
Right.
So I think he would probably be interested in doing that.
And I would prefer to do a Zoom. And I think what we talked about was we'll have to publicize this extremely well, and have people write in their questions, because we're not going to open it up to the public during the meeting itself. If we want them to be able to address the issues, we'll figure out the format of it, but people need to write in questions and concerns ahead of time, like we've been doing with the Zoom meetings with the town. Have you had any luck with Roy at all, Barry?
Do what?
Have you had any luck with Roy?
No, ma'am, I have not yet.
Okay. I'm
I've
pretty
got a
sure
phone call.
everybody's kind of concerned about, with all the winter weather, kind of taking up their time a little bit.
I'd say he travels all over the state. So it may take him a day or two to get back to me, but Roy's usually pretty good getting back with me.
Okay. Well, great. Well, let's go for, if we can't do March, let's go for April. Is there a problem with that, Alex? Do you see?
No, I don't see that a problem.
Okay. Okay, I'm making notes. Okay, anything else on a Duke Energy update? Okay, our grant for inventory. Do you want to reiterate what you said in your report, Alex, if you don't mind repeating?
Sure. So we've gone through town documents trying to find past examples of the scope of services for the bid that was put out before and haven't been able to find that. You and Andy Plininger drafted a new scope of services and shared that with me. It's a draft. It needs a little bit of updating.
Yeah.
We've got a list of 3 contractors to send that to.
Who are you going to contact?
Bartlett Tree Services. Is it Hartwood?
Hartwood, yes.
Hartwood, and then the third one, I can't remember his name. It's,
John,
John Sugg?
I think that's who you, yep,
Yeah, he's the one in Wilson.
down east, yep.
Yeah. Are we going to contact Scott Alba, or did you have any luck?
I hadn't had any luck yet, but we can. I mean, that would be a 4th one if Alex would like.
so our
Yeah.
goal is to have 3 people respond. So
Right.
if we can get more than 3 out there, that would increase our
That'd be real
chances.
good.
That's
Okay.
good.
Well, and once we get a figure in, I think I have on my computer, I don't have hard copies, but I do have digital copies of all the budgets that we presented and worked on. So we kind of have a starting place. I'll need to get some updated information, but I may just begin working on that a little bit, just in case we can get our act together by March 31. Comments, anyone? Alex, Daniel, Barry?
I don't have anything right now.
Okay,
Keep on keeping on.
that's right. Just keep on keeping on. Huh? Okie doke. Well, I can get up with you guys at some point when we get some information, and we'll go from there and have something to present in March. And I'll review everything. Part of this will be timelines we need to do, budget, and a narrative. So I'll worry about that tomorrow, as Miss Scarlett once said. So, okay, Brad, you wanted to give us an update on the Chestnut Foundation?
Yes, I had a nice conversation yesterday with Samantha Bowers, who's
Oh,
the
really?
outreach person. What's her title for
Oh,
Chestnut
forget.
Foundation?
yeah.
Anyway, it was a nice conversation, and learned a few things. I'm going to try to just kind of summarize. I was telling her about the idea of trying to build interest in Montreat for participating in reintroducing chestnuts into the valley here. And
Yeah. Can you speak into your mic, please, Brad?
okay,
Yeah,
yes,
thanks.
is this better?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So I was telling her that we would like to develop the relationship between the town and the foundation, and that we would like to find ways of engaging Montreat residents and visitors in the whole idea of over time getting chestnuts back into the valley more substantially. I asked her about
I hear it.
okay, we were getting feedback there.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear.
Yeah.
Can't hear you though.
I still hear the feedback happening. Is there an open mic?
Are you there?
I can hear Ann,
Yeah.
but not Fred.
Brad and Alex, can you hear us?
Oh,
If you all are having sound issues and we cannot hear you, but can you wave your arms if there's a
My mic
problem?
is on now.
Okay.
I don't know
oh
if
there.
Fleming can hear. Yeah, it had something to do with the TV.
Okay.
Okay, so uh, excuse me. So I'm going to go ahead and speak.
Okay.
Maybe
That's good. I can hear you.
somebody,
We can hear you.
Ann, could you nod your head if you can understand? Okay, the only view we have right now is on the laptop that Alex has. We
Okay.
can, yeah, but
And
it
I
doesn't
can
have
hear you.
audio, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
I
can't
can hear.
hear you. That's
Okay.
part
That's
of the
important.
issue. So I was talking to Samantha about getting people in the community involved. One of the things that came up was I was asking her if there would be a possibility of doing a visit to their experimental forest planting site that's near the arboretum, and and she thinks that that's probably a good idea. I'm thinking in terms of a not too large group to just kind of familiarize with what they do and what they're doing there. As it happens, they're currently in a project of planting 5,000 seeds, and it was either yesterday or today. Dottie Schumann and some students from the college
Right.
were involved in volunteering to help with that project. So Montreat is definitely involved already, and in that sense, and we want to expand it. Um, we ended up thinking that a good time from her point of view, and it could work for us as well, might be somewhere in the around the time of around 4th of July time. That's a time when visitors and people who own houses are here in the community, and you know, I'm not really dealing with at the moment with the questions about COVID and all and how we could pull it off, but she and I just kind of like marked, okay, that general period of time is a time good, might be a good time to try to get some mutual activity going. Um, so she liked what I was saying about interest in getting involved. One thing that I learned, they right at this time right now, the Chestnut Foundation is in the process of signing a memorandum of understanding with the yeah um, the memo of understanding with the Cherokee nations,
Okay.
and they're going to be involving with planting Cherokees throughout Cherokee lands,
That's
and you know, that the chestnut has a very big cultural importance to the Cherokee people, and everybody's really excited about that development. She raised the possibility that there could be developed between the foundation and Montreat such a similar memo of understanding that would enlist the assistance of the Chestnut Foundation in doing the kinds of things that we would hope might be able to happen here. So, you know, it's all being explored, but I think we've got some good potential there to get some interesting things going. So that's, in essence, that's what we talked about. I don't think I need to try to go dig any deeper on it at this point.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thanks, Brad. One little follow-up was, I know I let everybody know about a conversation I had with WLOS. I think it was Bill Evans. And the latest on that is because he filmed the original plantings down at the Black Mountain campus, he's going to do the follow-up in April. When the leaves are starting to bud and when the seedlings are starting to leaf out. So he's not just going to be photographing sticks in the ground. So I think that'll be a terrific educational opportunity for all of us as well. And I'll try and keep
Can you all
everybody-
hear each other?
Yes.
Yes. Can you
Okay,
hear
so
us?
we can't hear you
Yes.
in this room.
Oh,
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 Been
okay.
So frustrating. I'm sorry.
And maybe Ann could just type that
Well,
text to.
Okay, and what I'll do is, well, we have a little forum here that can hear each other. It's not a gender thing, boys, so I know they can't hear us, but at
Okay,
least
that's
that'll be
one person.
recorded, hopefully.
Can you write a sign on the screen with a piece of paper to say, we'll talk later?
TTL, talk TTYL, talk to you later.
They can see us, but they don't hear us. Is that
Yeah.
right?
No, I don't have a number this
Oh, we're on the screen now.
Oh,
Okay.
the screen's on, yeah.
What, can we get a sign to them?
Andy, this is Brad calling you.
Oh. So Brad's calling Ann Vincent at
Hi,
her house.
I'm going to put you on speaker here.
Okay, I know you got the pictures. Do you have sound?
There,
Okay,
no, we don't. We have the picture on the laptop. We don't have sound on the laptop though. And anytime we try to get it through the TV, we get this awful feedback that kind of destroys it.
okay. Well, we're almost to the end of the meeting anyway. But what I was saying after your comment with the Chestnut Foundation, and I'm sorry, ladies, if you're getting a feedback. What we can do is the WLOS story will probably run in April. So that the photographer and the reporter did the initial story with the college campus in Black Mountain in April, and they're going to revisit the same time of year. So I think that'll be a terrific education and publicity jump off point for all of us. And we can work toward, I'll keep everybody in the loop as to what we find out about that reporting. And so we can he wanted pictures of mature trees since there's still a couple left in town, and the seedlings, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll keep everybody in the loop on that.
Sounds good.
Okay, does anybody have anything else that they want to bring before the board today, since we're having technical issues? Okay,
I just one comment. You mentioned mature trees and if there's any left. You know, the Chestnut Foundation has a database of trees. And from what I gathered from what she was saying yesterday, they have some knowledge about the Montreat Valley and trees. They may be surviving trees. I don't know what all the parameters are. Do we have that information here in the community that could be helpful to our work? And if not, we could probably talk to her about how we could get it.
Did that. That's good.
yeah. Barry, do you want to address that? Can Barry hear me?
Yes, he can. It's not real strong, but
Ask Barry about the trees in town.
Chestnut.
our knowledge about trees in town, chestnut trees in town, and old ones where they might be, et cetera.
Perhaps Brad and Barry could talk and then report to you, Ann,
Okay,
Did you hear that?
maybe.
That'd be good.
no, I couldn't. I can hear Barry through his mic, but not on the phone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
I know of one chestnut tree on East Minster, just above Miss Lance's house. And then
Okay.
the only other thing that I know even in relation with a chestnut would be a chicky pin tree that's up on Lookout Trail. But I don't know if it's still thriving or not.
okay. Okey doke. Well, we can also check on with Foundation in their database, see if they have anything other than those.
That's good.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, I'll talk to Samantha about that.
Okay.
There are one other factor with them is that they are just in the process of hiring a new science coordinator for this region. He's going to be coming on soon, but it's going to be probably a couple of months before up to speed. So that's another factor while waiting a little bit before getting any big activities going, because she thinks that he should be involved.
Oh, that'd be great. So, yeah, well, I think it'll take us a while to get our thoughts together, and then we can work with them after the new person is on board.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Sounds good to
Okay.
me.
Is there anything else to come before the board? Then the next to last item is our next regular meeting will be on Tuesday, March 23rd. We have town hall listed, but it may be via Zoom again. And if there's nothing else, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Okay, all in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
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 Okay. Thank you all. I'm sorry we ran over, and I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but I think we managed to get a lot done.
You
Yay.
did. Good meeting. Thank you, Ann.
Okay, thank you all so much.
Have a good one.
thank you, Alex, for all of this.